This video is going to show you how to perform the methodology for ILS testing of color contrast methodology for ASTM F3022-13. The first step is to verify the calibration of your meter using clause 7.3.1.3. In order to do this, you need to place an 18% reflectance standard grade card on your wall, and you're going to measure the illumination and luminance of the object. So first, to measure the illumination, we're going to put the meter in illumination mode, and staying out of the way of your source light, you're going to take 3 readings across the surface of the gray card, record all 3 readings, and calculate the average on your data form. Then you're going to switch to reflective spot metering, which is going to measure luminance. You're going to stand at a meter from the object, looking through the device. You'll see a small circle, and again you're going to take 3 readings, moving that circle and pressing the record button across the surface. Note each of the 3 readings and record the average. Once you have the averages of luminance and illumination, you're going to plot these values using illumination as the x value and luminance as the y value. You will plot these 2 figures on one of the graphs in either figure A31 or A32, depending on if your illumination was measured in lux or foot candles. And on this graph, which looks something like this, if your data point falls within the gray zone, then the meter is calibrated. If it does not fall within that zone, repeat the test, and if it still isn't working, then you should return the meter and ask for it to be calibrated. The next step is to set up your test environment, and to do that you're going to follow clause 7.3.2.1, laboratory setup. First, you need to make sure that whatever environment you're in can sustain the same lighting conditions for the duration of the test. And in order to do that, we would recommend a windowless room so that the window light that's coming in isn't going to affect or be changing throughout the duration of the test. In your room, make sure that you allow any of your overhead light fixtures or any light fixtures that you're bringing into the room to warm up for at least 15 minutes so that they get to the full maximum output. After they've warmed up, you're going to measure the readings across your gray card again to confirm that the lighting is within the test range, which is 9 to 37 foot candles or 100 to 400 lux. If the range is below or above, you'll need to either remove lights or bring additional lighting in to allow your environment to have the right amount of light. And you should keep retesting the light until it is within that specified range. The next step in your testing is to hang the Color Checker Classic card in the same spot that you had the gray card, or if you have the gray card just placed over top of it, then just remove the gray card. Now you're going to follow the actual ILS protocol, and in order to do this, first you need to follow clause 7.3.2.3, which is color contrast documentation, which will be filling out all the pertinent information on your data form before recording measurements using your light meter. After you've done your color documentation, then you will follow clause 7.3.3 color contrast measurement method. You will run 3 tests. One test will consist of calculating the color contrast for 3 different pairs of colors. Color set A is bluish-green and black, color set B is yellow-green and blue, and color set C is white and yellow. One test will be performing the measurements on color set A, color set B, and color set C. Then you will perform test 2, repeating measurements on color set A, color set B, and color set C. And then you will perform a 3rd test on color set A, color set B, and color set C. Now we're going to run through test 1, color set A. Color set A is color bluish-green, which is right here, and color black, which is right here. In order to perform this test, you need to be 1 meter away from the object, have your meter in reflective metering, which is shooting through, or spot metering mode. You should mark on the floor your 1 meter mark before you begin. Turn the device on, and if you need additional assistance, see clause 7.3.1.2, reflected spot meter operation, on how to use your meter in spot meter reflectance mode. What I'm going to do is looking through the meter, taking that circle, I'm going to place the circle to where the circle is fully within the bluish-green square, that there's no black overlapping any part of the circle. I will take between 2 and 4 readings of the bluish-green color square, depending on whether the readings match or do not match. The goal here is to get 2 readings that are identical. The first possibility is that the first 2 readings are identical, and if that is the case, you will record those values on the datasheet. If the first 2 readings are not identical, then you will take a 3rd reading. If the 3rd reading matches the 2nd reading, you will record the 2nd and 3rd reading on your datasheet. If the 3rd reading matches the 1st reading, but not the 2nd, take a 4th reading. If the 3rd and 4th reading match, you will record the 3rd and 4th. If the 3rd and 4th do not match, but the readings have been alternating, meaning readings 1 and 3 were the same and readings 2 and 4 were the same, then you will record the readings and calculate the average on your data form. If you have more than 2 values that occur during your readings, or you run into a situation where you do not have a pair or alternating readings, then what you should do is stop your test, verify that your distance from the object, the actual measurement, the lighting conditions, that nothing has changed, all your variables have remained the same throughout the test, and then once you have confirmed that everything has remained the same, you will repeat the test. Example 1, reading 1, reading 2, they match. I can stop and not take additional readings and record values 1 and 2 on my data form and continue. Example 2, reading 1, reading 2, they do not match. Reading 3 matches reading 1. Reading 4 matches reading 2. I have alternating readings. I will record all 4 and calculate the average. After you've recorded the value for bluish-green as L1 for test 1 color set A, then you will take additional readings to measure the luminance of the second color, which is black, and will be recorded as L2. Standing back at that 1 meter mark, which you should have marked, and should not be where your feet are placed, but where the meter is directly over top of that 1 meter mark, you will aim the meter at the black color square, and again, getting your hands steady and that circle within the black square, you will take 2 consecutive readings. If they match, record that. If not, follow that method in 7.3.3.1 or on table 2 to determine how many readings to take and what value to record. After you finish the measurements for color set A and you've recorded the values for L1 and L2, then what you need to do is calculate your contrast using your contrast data form and the method in 7.3.3.3. 7.3.3.3 tells you how to calculate contrast using equation 1, which is contrast equals L1 minus L2, the sum of that divided by L1, and the result of that multiplied by 100. You can find the formula on page 2 of each data form, which will have a spot for you to take the match or average of L1 and L2, place them into the formula, and use a calculator to calculate the percentage of contrast. Do this before moving on to perform the measurement for color set B. When you've completed color set A, you will immediately move to color set B, which is yellow-green, which is right here, and blue, which is right here. Yellow-green will be L1, and blue will be L2, and you will perform the exact method that I just showed you, standing at 1 meter and taking 2 to 4 consecutive readings. After you've completed the recordings for color set B, you'll move to color set C, which is white for L1 and yellow for L2. Perform the same method, record your values. When you have completed all of test 1, you will then immediately perform test 2, which will again be starting with color set A, measuring the 2 colors, recording the information and calculating the contrast on the data form, then measuring color set B, calculating its contrast, measuring color set C, calculating its contrast, and then immediately you will move into test number 3. Once you have finished performing all of the tests, you will scan your data forms in and email them to your test contact, which will be provided on the email or form that you originally received. And if you have any questions, please contact your test administrator or the ILS contact for this test. Thank you.